So good morning, everyone. Like I said earlier, I'll be talking about design thinking, and I plan not to take much of our time. Yeah, my slide is really going to be taking more of white spaces because I want to make the presentation as simple as possible. So first, let's go. Let's discuss about what design is fundamentally. So here it says, in simple and brief words, a design is a plan to make something. The meaning of design can also depend on context and can also mean a variety of other things. Design is the creation of an experience. It's also the process of the said creation and how well it is organized. On top of that, design is also the result. That is the things we see, we hear, and feel. And these are the many sides of these are the many-sided nature of design. Okay, so what I simply meant here was, if you look around us, everything around us is actually design of someone, or a design of nature, or even the concept of design, the design of our world. It's actually a design process too. So it's actually a plan to make something. It's design is actually design itself. It is a very broad word. It's a very broad language. It has a very broad meaning. So I would like us to be open-minded as I take us through what design thinking is. So what is design thinking? Simply put, it's an innovative way of solving problems by questioning these problems. So in this context, design thinking could mean, okay, we want to create a better can opener. It would mean, would you want to, the questions that will come to you is, okay, do you even need to create a new can opener? Do you want to improve on the existing design? Do you want to start up with another design entirely? Why do you want to improve on what you have currently? These are main designs, smart designs that comes to your head when you're doing design thinking. So that is why I put it as it is an innovative way of solving problems by questioning these problems themselves. So here I said, for example, if someone wants to come up with a better can opener, they could simply improve on the existing design that fits within legacy systems and structures. However, if you were taking this design thinking approach, they would question what assumptions can take a more expansive view of the problem. Is there a way to open the can in a new way? Is the can even the ideal container, or would they design an entirely different one? These are questions that actually pops up during a design thinking process. So next slide. Now let's take design thinking and product design. So I said design thinking and product design. Yeah, so I'm trying to link how modern product design and design thinking works. So when building great products, design is the most important feature. It also means that when you are planning a great product, planning is actually very important, which is what gives you the advantage of an excellent product, a successful product. So now it says, but how do we create a great design? And the answer is actually simple. It says, when designing products, always remember that you're designing for people. People-centered product design is actually what makes the product or building awesome on the long run. Because you're actually designing to a successful end. You're putting many things into consideration during your design process, which actually most important is the people you're designing for. You're actually putting into consideration how they would react to the design, what things they would want to see in the design, what are irrelevant, what are relevant. So design thinking is actually very important when doing designing a product. Sorry. that takes me to the next slide. So here, in the context of product design, now let's redefine design thinking. So design thinking is focusing on understanding people's needs and discovering the best solutions to meet those needs. The most significant difference between this approach and traditional methods of product design is that in this method, the design process always begins with understanding users, which is what I said earlier. This understanding better positions the team to create a successful product. So how does design thinking work in this light? Design thinking reinforces a design process. It organized as a series of steps that product teams follow during the formulation of a product from start to finish. A product team that uses a design thinking approach attempts to find a solution to their problem by following these 5 steps: empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. So let's take these processes again one by one. I've empathized, which mostly could be called. It is important to start the design process by learning about the people for whom your design is never time wasted. Good research informs your product design. When it comes early in the design process, research will save you a lot of resources, both time and money, and down the road, because you need to make few adjustments later. Okay, let me go back to how I joined the Meet Mentees team through use UI and UX design. So I got a call from Danny. I'd started working with WayMaker at that time, and it was like, can you design UIs and all that? Can you work with Figma? And I was excited at first, like, yeah, I was even teasing that, wow, that would be more money for me and all that. So I was excited, and along the line, when I joined the brainstorming session and I saw documents and all that, I went crazy. Like, this was actually my first time working in an organized process towards a product design. Most of what I've done so far, just give a document and tell you to, okay, come up with these screens and all that. And I just designed based on what I've seen. But so far, when I joined, I was in a brainstorm session. I saw the documents, which is actually going to take us to the other processes after this. And it got me almost thinking, like, damn me, I think I'm not understanding what is going on here. Probably just meet somebody else. But I had to just later, I had to take the challenge. And along the line, it got interesting. It's actually something I think had actually upped my game. So far, I understand product design more. I understand how it works better. And so far, it's had broadened my understanding of how building a product should actually look and work like. So the first step about this is user research. And I remember also when I joined Zelda's class there, when she was explaining user research and how it's actually very important to product design. I did not really understand then, because I've not had an hands-on experience on how it works. But when I started working on Meet Mentees, I realized, and I was recording all the things she said, and it actually made sense then. So to the next slide, define. Yeah, it's we can also say user personas. Yeah, part of the documents I saw on the slides then too, while I was in the brainstorming session, was the personas. Mentors and our mentees. Diagrams and everything was actually scary back then. I mostly did not understand most of what was there. It took me many nights of sitting down, going through everything one by one, like, okay, this is what this is needed to, this is what this is needed to. Then later, I can remember one night when I begged Victor to explain more of how these things work, and it really made me understand how it works now. In fact, if I can actually continue designing, I had actually designed in my dream one day. I thought I had actually finished some part of design. I woke up and I have not done anything. So it's what I meant with
about that is I understand how the products work very well now because I know our users better and how we have a document that actually explained how they work and think and the better approach to building the product, the outcome and everything, and it really, really makes sense. We going by what I wrote here. It says at this step, you need to identify key user groups who might all use your product in a similar way, also known as personas. In our case here, mentors and mentees, and the problem that they face. In user-centered design, a persona is a fictional character created to represent a user type. Personas are useful in considering the motivations and goals of users in order to help to build decisions about the product or service. Next, ideate, which could also mean brainstorming. Yeah, at this stage, the product design team brainstorms a range of solutions and selects the one or few that best solves the problem. Yeah, like I said earlier, we had a series of brainstorming sessions when we started them, and it actually helped us make great decisions, which actually has helped us to the stage we are right now. And it makes us understand what we're doing best without wasting much of time and resources going back and forth. So the next is prototype, creating a high fidelity product. Yeah, there are good ideas that lead to product success and bad ideas that lead to failure. Yeah, a bad idea, even if that an idea is good, just coming up with a solution to a problem isn't enough. It is also vital to ensure that it will work for our users. So creating a prototype helps designers understand whether they're on the right track or not. Designers in this case now is the UI designer. This is simply done by creating a high fidelity product that looks and work almost like a finished product. So this is where Figma came in, where we had to design what our product would actually look and feel like. And we also used prototypes where we actually linked most of our buttons and clicks to where they are meant to go to, so that they could actually be a test by us in-house first, then our potential users at the end of the day. So this actually came back looking good, helped us inform our decision afterwards, after the user testing, which is where the slide is going to. So we made most of the changes, and I think we are moving to our second usability test. So here, testing, usability testing. So this testing phase helps a product team ensure that the design concept works as intended based on the results of testing, and the product team might want to introduce changes to the original solution, which often leads to another iteration of the product design. Okay, so in this light, what user design thinking helps, and what it actually taught me in this on this part is that it helps you to be flexible. It helps you to make successful decisions. Successful in the sense that you're not blindly taking decisions on, okay, I think this is what our users would like. You're actually putting it out there to really understand what they actually want. So you're not making assumptions along the line, leading you to a possible part of starting your design from the scratch all over again, and even making the same mistake if you do not take these steps that we've applied so far. So it brings us to the conclusion. So the most important thing to remember when designing products is that you must deliver the right features with the right user experience for the right people, user-centered design. So the design thinking approach will help you to define your target audience, research their problems, focus on building a product that solves those problems, and finally validate your product by testing it with real users. So with this few points of mine, I hope I've not confused you, and I'm able to make things clear. So thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. Hey. All right, Topper. So from your presentation, would you say that user research is a part of design, I know you said design can be defined in different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. So user research is actually an essential part of design. It is where you gather information from. There are very many complex designs in high these days that you actually won't know where to start from. There are many of such that I have, and making a good decision on how to start and saving you time, you might have to uh, take this process through research, ask possible users what they think about a product like this. What do they think works best with such kind of products? How would they react if you do things this way? Does that answer the question?
Yes, yeah, it does. Okay, thanks, Topper.